So today I wanted to share with you some of my personal story with mindfulness. This is something that I know I talk about a lot about what it's done and how it's shown up for me, but I just want to dig in and share a little bit more with you. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and I want you to consider if they apply to you, where you might be at with this, how you feel, and then kind of listen to what I'm going to share and see how it lands, how it resonates with you in my journey. Because a lot of times we find ourselves in other people's stories. We find ourselves in other people's journeys in life. So the first question: are you caught in the daily grind? What does the daily grind mean? So for most of us, we get up, we go to work, we do our chores, we go to bed, we repeat. It's the same day in and day out. We're stressed about the day ahead. We're thinking about all that we have to do. We can't wait till bedtime or until it's the evening and we can sit down and watch TV and kind of block out the world, right? So are you caught in the daily grind? The next is, do you find yourself constantly juggling tasks and battling distractions? So if you are here, there, and everywhere and feel like you can never focus, you can never get anything accomplished because your brain and your mind and the things around you are all over the place, is that you? And then are anxiety and stress constant companions? Does it feel like stress and anxiety are such a part of your life you don't remember a day without them? If you said yes to any of those things, I've been there. These are all things that I faced, all things that I intentionally work through day in and day out. Mindfulness is a practice. It takes being intentional. If I'm not careful, all of these things that I just mentioned can creep back in. And they can actually come in quickly if we're not mindful of our actions and our thoughts and our intentions. So I would invite you to consider, if you have not already, mindfulness meditation as part of your day. You will see a transformation. You will feel more peace if you give it a try, if you give it a solid try. Anything new is hard. Anything new feels weird. Anything new is a challenge. But if we push through that a little bit, the benefits far, far, far outweigh the challenges that come with beginning something new. If you are practicing meditation and mindfulness already, please share how you incorporate it, because we can inspire each other. There are so many different ways, so many different things that we can pull into our lives to help us be more mindful. And so I would love to hear from you about what's working, because there might be something that I could use myself or with someone I'm helping. So my days used to be a whirlwind of tasks, of chores, of never-ending to-do lists. I've mentioned before that I am a to-do list person. I like to lay out the things that have to happen. I like to see it, remind my brain this is what we're working on, and check things off. It's a reward to see that list, to feel like I'm accomplishing things. But that to-do list used to be unimaginable, like so unimaginable. And this is where I find people burning themselves out, is because they have so much on their lists, way more than one person can accomplish in a day or a week sometimes. And they're defeated at the end of the day, and they're frustrated because they can't do it all. And so you find yourself drained. You find yourself with that anxiety because you feel like, I can't do it all. I can't do it all. I can't do it all. You're stressed because more gets put on your list before you can take anything off. Like, any of this sounding familiar to you? So I would find myself spiraling out of control. I didn't have any self-confidence really because I could never make a decision. I've mentioned that before as well. I didn't know what to do, and doing nothing was easier than taking action. And that's the case for many of us. So I ended up at a point where I had this desire, this need to find something that could help me navigate all of these challenging things and be a happier, more joyful, more thoughtful person. Because and again, if I'm not careful, I am someone who will snap when I'm under pressure, when I'm feeling stressed. And that's not good for anyone. So giving myself more grace, taking part in self-care activities, making myself feel like I matter. So movement, drinking my water, eating better, paying attention to how things make me feel, being around different people and what's the energy, relaxing more, being away from the lists, reading, like all of these things have been slow works in progress. So the concept of mindfulness was brought to me through meditation. And I thought there's no way this can help me. But I was at a point that I needed something. I needed to do something. And so I tried it. And I, quote unquote, failed. I cannot even exactly pinpoint the time when meditation finally clicked for me, but I will promise you that just like everyone else, I tried it, felt like it wasn't working, gave up. Tried it, felt like it wasn't working, gave up. And eventually it all came together. So persistence and patience are two things when it comes to mindfulness that are important to remember. So I shared that I was a multitasker. I used to do 500 things at once. And I would give myself a pat on the back that I would do it very well. I didn't make as many mistakes as I thought most people probably did. I was able to pay attention. I was able to get tasks to completion. What I didn't realize is that it was probably taking me a lot longer than it needed to, and that my energy and my focus was so spread out that I was really drained. I was really burnt out because I was trying to do so many things at once. So scientific studies suggest that meditation and mindfulness can reduce anxiety, can reduce depression, can ease physical discomfort. And that's one thing that often gets overlooked is we have these aches, these pains, fatigue, headaches, and we can't figure out where they're coming from or what their cause is. And a lot of times it's just dealing with stress. Our body's putting all that stress somewhere if we're not dealing with it. So it ends up in our shoulders, in our heads with headaches, with being tired all the time. Like that, those are signs that you are stressed. Obviously, with medical care and things to make sure that there's nothing else underlying. But a lot of times, if there's no answer, it comes down to just the amount of stuff our body is carrying. So the demands of work, the demands of home, the demands I had on myself, the expectations, those all took center stage. And I really struggled with incorporating mindfulness practices in the beginning. So I started small. And this is what I suggest if you've never done this before. 5 minutes every day is better than 20 minutes once a week. 5 minutes every day is better than nothing at all. 1 minute every day is better than nothing at all. So when you start to practice, when you start to notice the benefits, you find yourself more focused I was more focused. I'm less stressed. I can handle challenges with a little bit more grace and patience without snapping. And it reminds us that that juggling act of life and work and all the things doesn't have to be the star of the show. We can slow down. We can be patient. We can do one thing at a time, address one thing at a time, and work through all of that mindfully. So taking a moment to breathe, refocusing if you're starting to feel yourself getting stressed, prioritizing that self-care. Self-care means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And for me, I can sum up self-care into a very short sentence, and that is, what makes you feel good? That's self-care. If it's going for a walk, if it's sitting outside and reading, if it's nice out, it could be taking a bath. It could be turning everything off and just sitting in the quiet. Whatever that looks like for you, you get to define that, okay? But prioritizing that can make a huge difference. And that's usually what ends up at the end of the list, the bottom of the list, the things we never, ever get to. So as you navigate your own path, as you balance this work and home and self-care and hobbies and chores and children and like goes on and on, ask yourself, are you ready to embrace mindfulness and unlock your potential as a caretaker of your own well-being? Think about that. You are the only one. You are the caretaker of your well-being. Everyone else and everything else does not have to come first. So the choice is yours. The benefits are here. They're waiting for you to discover them. You have the power to transform your life one mindful moment at a time. One moment at a time. That's all it takes. Paying attention to this second, this moment, and doing it again and again and again. So reach out if I can support you in any way. And I hope that my story, my experiences that I've shared with you inspire you to slow down, inspire you to take action toward your well-being, getting you out of that daily grind and all of the stress and the overwhelm that comes along with it.